In 2019, for the first time, President Donald Trump floated an idea that stunned world leaders: buying Greenland. It sounded absurd at first.
Prime Minister's statement that it was absurd. It was an absurd idea. It was nasty. I thought it was an inappropriate statement. All she had to do is say, no, we wouldn't be interested.
But why does Greenland matter so much right now? Today, we break down the real reasons behind this story and the global stakes involved. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, with a small population of around 56,000 people. It's mostly covered by ice, but beneath the frozen surface lies some of the largest untapped reserves of minerals and rare earth metals in the world.
Half the periodic table can be found in Greenland, so they're used in permanent magnets, so they go in windmills or electric cars, whatnot. Also screens for mobile phones or computers, TVs, whatnot.
Among these are neodymium and dysprosium, used to create powerful magnets for wind turbines, electric vehicles, and military technology. Terbium, used in electronics, lighting, and military sensors. Uranium, critical for nuclear power generation and military applications. Beyond these, Greenland also holds large deposits of titanium, iron, nickel, cobalt, and other rare metals, which are increasingly important for technology, renewable energy, and defense industries. These resources could reduce global reliance on single countries that currently dominate production, giving strategic leverage to whoever has access. Not only that, its strategic location between North America and Europe makes it a key spot for military monitoring, air traffic, and climate research. The Arctic region is becoming increasingly important as global warming opens new shipping lanes and changes global trade patterns. Historically, nations with Arctic access have always held significant strategic advantages, both militarily and economically, making Greenland an important piece on the global map.
In August 2019, news outlets reported that Trump had considered purchasing Greenland. He called it strategically important and interesting for the United States. While it may sound bizarre, this wasn't entirely unprecedented. The US has a history of land acquisitions, including Alaska in the 19th century. Presidents and leaders throughout history have looked at territories not only for economic gain, but also for strategic positioning. In that sense, Trump's interest in Greenland fits a long pattern of US foreign policy ambitions, though the idea of outright buying a territory in the 21st century was unusual. The media reaction at the time highlighted how unexpected this proposal seemed, sparking debates about Arctic geopolitics and US-Denmark relations. As the Arctic ice melts, shipping routes are opening that could make Greenland a hub for trade and strategic access to the Arctic region. Economically, controlling Greenland could give the US a foothold in a region likely to become more important in the decades to come. Shipping through the Arctic could cut transit times between Asia, Europe, and North America by thousands of kilometers, making Greenland a potential choke point in international trade. Access to these new routes could have enormous economic and military implications. In addition, as technology advances, Greenland's rare earth metals become even more valuable. Countries around the world are racing to secure these resources to support clean energy, electric vehicles, and high-tech industries. Control or influence over Greenland could shift the balance of these supply chains. Strategically, Greenland sits at a prime location in the North Atlantic. The US already operates Thule Air Base, a key early warning radar site. Controlling more of Greenland could expand US military reach, monitor Arctic activity, and secure new air and sea routes. All reasons why a purchase might have been considered from a defense perspective. The island's location also makes it a natural hub for missile defense and satellite monitoring. Any nation with influence there would have an advantage in monitoring both the Atlantic and Arctic regions, which is increasingly important as global powers compete in these areas. The proposal was politically sensitive. Denmark and Greenland officials quickly rejected the idea in 2019. Denmark's Prime Minister called it absurd, and Greenland's Premier stated that Greenland is not for sale. The response highlighted the complexity of trying to buy a territory that is self-governing and proud of its autonomy. Legally, Greenland cannot be sold without Denmark's approval, because sovereignty ultimately remains with Denmark. Any attempt to bypass this would violate international law and trigger diplomatic crises. Even if Greenland's local government were willing, Denmark would have to consent, making the idea nearly impossible. Culturally and politically, Greenlanders take pride in their autonomy and identity. Selling the territory would have sparked massive internal opposition, reinforcing that the proposal was not just legally complex, but socially and politically unrealistic. Ultimately, the Greenland Purchase never happened. The main obstacles were political, legal, and practical. Greenland is not US territory, and any sale would require consent from Denmark and Greenland's government. Moreover, the idea sparked widespread ridicule in the media, making it politically infeasible. But it sparked global discussion about Arctic geopolitics and resource competition. The discussion drew attention to the Arctic as a region of strategic importance and future conflict, with climate change unlocking resources and trade routes that were previously inaccessible. Countries like China, Russia, and European nations are increasingly investing in the Arctic, highlighting Greenland's importance in global strategy. So why did Trump want Greenland? The reasons are strategic, economic, and political. Access to resources, military positioning, and Arctic influence. While the idea was unconventional and ultimately rejected, it highlights Greenland's geopolitical significance and the growing attention on the Arctic in global politics. Today, Greenland's strategic importance is higher than ever. As Arctic ice melts, new shipping lanes are opening, and global powers are increasingly focused on the region's vast mineral wealth and military significance. The US, China, and European nations are all investing in Arctic infrastructure and research. What once seemed like an unusual idea, the US showing interest in Greenland, now reflects a larger race for Arctic resources, technological advantage, and strategic positioning in the 21st century.